Hey everyone, welcome to the MP611 Gender and Leadership Style course. I'm Ajay Latimer and I'm joined by Jesse Akins. Jesse, how's LA treating you today?
Hey Ajay, it's the usual, sunny, expensive, a little pretentious, but mostly alright. Hi everyone, I'm really excited for this episode because, well, leadership and gender, there's just so much to unpack. And Ajay, we get to dig into the big shift from old school leadership models, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you think about all those classic leadership books, they'd almost always start with this great man theory, right? You know, the idea that leaders are born, not made, and usually it's like straight up masculine traits being praised, decisiveness, control, all that stuff. It pretty much ignored anyone who didn't fit that mold.
Absolutely. That top-down command and control vibe. The course readings lay it out. I'm thinking of Badura et al., 2018, how those old perceptions really, stuck leadership with this masculine label. It's wild how much it shaped who people even considered leadership material.
And I gotta say, it wasn't just something I read about. In one of my marketing classes, there was this debate that, honestly, got kind of heated. It was about whether leaders are born or made. Classic question. But it turned kind of personal. One of my classmates, she pointed out how our list of natural leaders was like all men we'd seen in suits. No women, no one who didn't fit that super traditional leader image. That stuck with me and, just made me realize how much we're conditioned to see leadership a certain way. It actually made me second guess some stuff I'd always just accepted.
Yeah, it's crazy how deep those biases run. But there's this whole evolution, right? Now we've got models like transformational leadership, which are a lot more about inspiring, mentoring, building community, traits that used to get labeled as feminine but are now essential for good leadership. I see it in childcare all the time. The best leaders are the ones who support and empower, not just dictate.
Exactly. So, it's not just about, flipping the script and saying women are better leaders or whatever. It's about making space for different strengths and realizing the old way was way too narrow. Where was I going with this? Right. So, I'm curious, Jesse, how did you first realize that those gendered leadership expectations were shaping your world?
Honestly, I think it was back when I started supervising teen volunteers at the summer camp I worked at in Ontario. There was always this unspoken expectation that guys would take charge, especially in emergencies or group tasks. But whenever I, or really any woman, stepped up, people were surprised or even uncomfortable. Looking back, that's totally what Badura and the others are talking about. How leadership still gets linked to masculine traits even now.
Yeah, that's real. And it's wild how those old models still sneak into our assumptions. But with more people calling it out, and with these newer leadership frameworks, there's a lot more room to redefine what it means to lead well, no matter your gender. Let's dig into what actually shapes those biases in the first place.
Okay, so let's talk about where all this really starts. Are we looking at biology? Or is it society making us this way? Ripon's TED Talk comes up a lot. She basically says, sure, our brains have differences, but the world is what really shapes those differences into gendered expectations.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch like that Glore et al. 2023 article about how identities get shaped not just in our heads but by what's around us. Which I guess is why some folks keep asking, are leadership traits wired in? But from what I've read, biology's only one piece. The rest comes from, how we're raised, what schools and jobs reward, all that culture stuff.
Totally. And it's not just nature or nurture, it's this messy mix. Shen and Joseph, 2021, they talk about these implicit beliefs. We might agree in theory that anyone could be a leader, but when it comes to actually picking or supporting leaders, those old gender stereotypes jump out. People see authentic leaders as aligning with their own gender expectations. If you step outside that, you get pushback.
Well, that feels like a solid place to pause for today. We've got tons more to cover in the upcoming weeks. Negotiation, conflict, inclusion, all that good stuff. Jesse, always a pleasure, and thanks to everyone listening for joining us as we unpack all this together.
Thanks, AJ, and thanks everybody. Catch you next time on MP611. Don't forget to challenge those old school leadership ideas and keep questioning what authentic leadership really means for you. Have a good one.